In the shadow of a developing nation, between 1959 and 1961, an unseen catastrophe unfolded across China. It was a famine of unprecedented scale, not wrought by nature alone, but by human policy. 45 million people perished, swallowed by the silent fields and empty granaries. While the world remained largely unaware, inside China, the highest echelons of power, including Chairman Mao Zedong himself, received reports of the unfolding horror. Yet, instead of intervention, there was often silence, and a continuation of policies that fueled the disaster. The question wasn't if Mao knew, but what he chose to do, or not do, with that knowledge. Born into a prosperous peasant family in Shaoshan, Hunan province in 1893, Mao Zedong's early life was steeped in the very rural China he would later transform. His education, unlike many of his peers, was relatively extensive, yet his heart remained with the common farmer. He witnessed firsthand the injustices and inequalities plaguing a crumbling imperial China, fueling a burgeoning revolutionary spirit. Mao joined the Communist Party of China in 1921, a young man captivated by Marxist ideals, envisioning a new future for his impoverished homeland, a future he believed he was destined to lead. By 1934, the Communist Party faced annihilation by Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist forces. What followed was one of the most epic retreats in military history, the Long March. For over a year, 86,000 Red Army soldiers, reduced to a mere 7,000 by its end, trekked over 6,000 miles across treacherous mountains, rivers, and grasslands. It was during this brutal odyssey that Mao Zedong's leadership solidified. His strategic acumen and unwavering resolve in the face of impossible odds transformed him from a party leader into a living legend, inspiring unwavering loyalty among his depleted, yet resilient, forces. October 1, 1949. Standing atop Tiananmen Gate, Mao Zedong declared the founding of the People's Republic of China to a roaring crowd. After decades of civil war and foreign invasion, China was finally unified under communist rule. This moment was the culmination of Mao's revolutionary journey, a triumphant victory against the nationalists and an end to a century of humiliation. For millions, it signaled hope, stability, and national pride. Mao, once a regional leader, now stood as the undisputed helmsman of a vast nation, controlling the destiny of 1/4 of humanity. The world watched, irrevocably changed. Just 9 years after his triumph, Mao embarked on his most ambitious social and economic experiment, the Great Leap Forward. Launched in 1958, this campaign aimed to rapidly transform China from an agrarian society into an industrial superpower, bypassing decades of development. Mao envisioned catching up with, and even surpassing, Western industrial nations like Britain, within a few years. Collectivized farms and backyard steel furnaces became the symbols of this feverish drive. The party galvanized the population with grand slogans, promising an unparalleled era of prosperity and abundance, yet blind optimism overshadowed any cautionary voices. The reality of the Great Leap Forward quickly diverged from its utopian vision. Flawed agricultural theories, such as close planting and deep plowing, destroyed harvests. Obsessive steel quotas led farmers to melt down their tools and cookware, leaving them without means to work the land. Local officials, under immense pressure to report success, fabricated astonishingly high grain yields, often boasting more than they could possibly produce. These inflated figures, however, led the state to collect more grain, leaving little, if anything, for the peasants. The granaries filled with false reports, while the countryside emptied of life, setting the stage for the famine. As millions starved, evidence emerged that Mao and the highest party leadership were informed of the unfolding disaster. Cadres reported widespread death and cannibalism, yet these harrowing accounts were often dismissed or suppressed. Mao, insulated by sycophantic officials and a distorted information chain, prioritized political loyalty over human lives. He saw dissent as a threat to his authority, and criticism of the Great Leap Forward was swiftly punished. The famine became not just an economic failure, but a chilling testament to the unchecked power of a leader who chose to protect his ideology and image, even at the cost of his own people. Following the Great Famine, Mao's political influence waned. Determined to reclaim absolute power and purge perceived enemies, he unleashed the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution in 1966. He rallied millions of young students, the Red Guards, to destroy the four olds: old customs, old culture, old habits, and old ideas. China descended into a decade of unprecedented chaos, with intellectuals, party officials, and anyone deemed bourgeois or reactionary facing public humiliation, torture, and death. Ancient artifacts were shattered, temples desecrated, and a generation's education was sacrificed, tearing apart the very fabric of Chinese society and its rich historical soul. Mao Zedong's legacy remains profoundly complex and deeply controversial. He unified a fragmented nation, leading the Communist Party to victory and restoring China's sovereignty on the world stage. For many, he is the architect of modern China, a liberator who lifted millions out of feudal oppression. Yet, his ambition and ideology came at a monstrous cost: tens of millions dead from famine, political purges, and the Cultural Revolution. He was a leader who inspired unwavering devotion and unimaginable terror, a man whose decisions shaped a nation of 1 billion people, leaving behind a dual legacy forever etched in the annals of history. Was he a hero, a monster, or an inescapable, devastating blend of both?